Okay. So now we'll start. I think recording is on. Okay. So is it visible now? The PPT?
No,
Hello.
sir.
Hello.
Sir.
PPT is visible?
No, sir.
No,
sir.
No, no. Some are telling yes, some are telling no. I don't understand. Hello.
No, sir. It's not visible.
Not visible.
Not, sir.
So
Seems nothing has been shared, sir. We are able to see you only.
now is it visible?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Why? Because I am following the same procedure. Here I am. It is showing. Here it is showing the PPT is shared among the students. Again I am sharing. I think it is visible now.
No, sir.
Sir. No, sir.
Is it visible?
Not
No,
yet,
sir.
sir.
Sorry?
No, sir.
No, sir.
I don't understand what is the problem. Because is anybody is able to visit, see, or nobody is able to see?
Nobody. No, sir. I don't think anyone could.
No, sir.
Because the procedure same I am following here. Mine is it is showing the PPT share among the students. Here it is showing that PPT share among the anyway we will continue because it is getting delayed. We will continue. I will share the PPT. So at least you listen what I am teaching. That's all. So today we are going to teach that introduction to. Is it audible?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we are going to start the class on. I am going to teach on today on introduction to qualitative research methods. So here you see, we will first discuss about what is qualitative research. See, we have two types of research are there. One is the qualitative research is that one which involves the quality or kind, that is when research is to be made on human behavior, attitudes, its culture and its experience on the basis of observation and interpretation. The research is said to be qualitative. When it will be called a qualitative research? Means when it involves the quality or kind, that is research is to be made on human behavior and human attitude, human culture and its experience on the basis of observation and interpretation. The research is said to be qualitative research. So means in qualitative research we are mostly focusing on the human behavior, human attitude, human culture and human experience, and that too on what, how we are collecting, on the basis of our observation, and what we are observing we are interpreting that. So that is called qualitative research. So what is the example? Example is, suppose you are doing a marketing research conducted to collect the data regarding to consumers' taste, preferences, choices by analyzing their buying behavior is called qualitative research. Suppose I am doing a marketing research. I want to collect the data regarding the what exactly the consumer likes, what is their preferences, while the suppose think about a particular product, suppose the toothpaste, which toothpaste the consumers are preferring, and if they are preferring X, why they are preferring, so whether they are preferring their preferences and regarding the taste, the quality, the choice, we are all analyzing all these things and interpreting why the human beings behave in a differently from different product to different product. So that is exactly called qualitative research. Then the question comes here, are qualitative research methods is scientific in nature? Okay, that is also highly essential, because you see there are sometimes there is debate is going on. So okay, I missed that. We have to also teach that each social science research is scientific in nature. So you see, if you look into that, so first we should also be very careful that whether because sometimes what happens, we have a conflict between qualitative research and quantitative research. And generally also sometimes we ask, is qualitative research method is scientific in nature? Because you see, first, any kind of scientific research, the qualitative research seeks to answer the questions with the help of predefined set of procedures. There are certain kind of procedures we adopt while we are making a research design. While we are doing any research, we used to first make a research design. And while we are preparing the research design, in that research design, we formulated certain steps. So what exactly we are telling here, the qualitative research also follows certain predefined procedure and predefined steps to answer the each and every questions which is raised in the beginning of the research. Then what the qualitative research is doing, like scientific research also, qualitative research also gathering the evidences, because we are also collecting the information, we are also collecting the data, we are also collecting the cases. So that means in qualitative research also we are gathering the evidences. Then like scientific research, in qualitative research also the outcome is not predetermined. And suppose I am going to the field to study the human behavior, I have not predetermined that this will be the outcome of the result. So but in any scientific research, whenever we are doing an experiment, because our target is something, but when we do experiment, sometimes some new things also invent. Like that in qualitative research also, while we are going to the field, while we are doing the research in the qualitative research, generally my outcome is not predefined, it is not predetermined. I used to do the research, then the result comes something new, not it is a predefined result. Then applicability of its finding go beyond the purview of the chosen study. It is not that just like in science, when we invent something, we use it also. Like that means the applicability, the application part. In qualitative research also, when we found something, it is not that only we can tell that the outcome of this study is only applicable to this side. Rather also we generalize that if the similar situation kind of things happen, then this will be the outcome. Means the outcome we received, and what we do means the outcome is the dependent variable, and the independent variable we said that taking our field into account, that these are the situation. If the similar kind of situation arises in other areas, then the result will be the similar kind of result will come up. So that is exactly claims that the applicability of qualitative research remains constant also. Then understand the research problem from the perspective of the population that it deals with. Means what we are doing when we are understanding the research problems, we are understanding the research problem, taking the people into confidence, taking the population, taking the sample where I am doing the research, I am taking those things into account while I am understanding the research problem. Then effective in getting culturally specific information about the values, practices, the beliefs, behaviors, social context of the population. So what we are doing when we are doing it in qualitative research, it is also effective in the sense while I am doing the qualitative research, we are taking the certain kind of cultural specific information. What exactly suppose you see, I was giving an example. Suppose the government of India introduced, government of Odisha in the 70s to enhance the livelihood opportunity of Kond tribe in Koraput region of Odisha. We have a Kebiki region, Kalahandi, Koraput and Balangir, those regions. So there, the government of Odisha feels that mostly the Kond tribes are living in the Koraput regions. The government of Odisha felt that most of the tribes are depending on the forest. In order to provide an alternative livelihood to them and to reduce their dependency on forest, the government of Odisha started that a scheme where they feel that if you give the cows to these every households, the tribal households, then they can go for milking and they can sell the milks, and through that their dependence on forest will go down, and then their livelihood will be diverse, source of livelihood will be diversified. Without studying their culture, the government of Odisha distributed the cows among the poor households. But when after 2 years they went and started evaluating the impact of the scheme, they found that most of the Kund tribes have sold out their cows, or some of them has already sacrificed in different functions and ate it. Because the Kunds have a cultural, then when they make a study on cultural specific relating to this cows and all, they found that the Kunds believe that the calf has only right over the cow's milk. So in their community, not a single person consumes the cow milk. They feel that the calf is having only rights over the mother's milk. So that's why their community never drinks the milk. And you see, almost all the Kond tribes are living in a specific regions. So that's why even if they want to buy, there nobody is there to take it. So that's why. And at the same time, the Konds are cow eaters. So what they did, they sacrificed all these cows during different religious functions and ate it. So that's why most of the peoples, there is no such increment in their livelihoods, no kind of enhancement happen in the livelihood. So that's why in qualitative research also, we specifically while looking into the culture, we look into the culture, we are studying the culture of food. Last class I was telling about, suppose when we want to study specifically on a pregnancy and food culture, we specifically emphasize on the belief system, the culture specific system, of a particular community, what food they eat during pregnancy and what taboos they impose not to eat the food during pregnancy period. So that's why the culture plays a predominant role, which is very effective in getting all this information. And it is not that the qualitative information which we collect, there is also, in some extent, you will find that there is a similarity between the scientific interpretation and the data we collected from the field also. Then the then you see, what do we gain in this qualitative research? What generally we gain? It provides the human side of an issue. What the qualitative, are you understanding? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in qualitative research, what exactly we gain? It provides the human side of an issue. It provides a specific aspect of human beings, the specific cultural aspect, specific perception aspect, specific attitude of human beings. It provides the human side of an issue. Any particular issue you explore will link to that. It gives a textual description of the experience of a people on a given research issue. Suppose I have taken a particular issue in my research domain, and while I am doing the research, what I am doing, I am getting a textual description of that particular issue. Okay, we are collecting a textual description. So it effectively identify the intangible factors like social norms, the socioeconomic status, the gender role, ethnicity, and the religion. You see, in qualitative research, there are certain kind of intangible factors which, like social norms, your custom, your ethnicity, your religion, your rituals, your gender issues, because every society has a kind of different perception to the gender. See, even though, see, the very unique thing is, see, every time what we feel, we always claim that if we enhance the education of the peoples, then their perception towards the gender and sex ratio will go down. But do you know that in our country, specifically in India, you will find that the education and sex ratio are not having a positive correlation, rather have a negative correlation. Because we found that wherever the education is more, uh, the women ratio, the female ratio of the male is very low. And where there is education is, the illiteracy is more, the sex ratio is more. It means if you look into that, mostly, even if you find out the 10 districts which are highly educated in India, and you take the 10 districts having highest women sex ratio in comparison to 1000 male, you will find that the districts which are in the low, from the lower branch of the literacy, are better performing than the districts which are educated, which are having highest literacy rates. So that means there is a negative correlation. So sometimes what happens, though we are taking the education, so that's why I always tell that we are a bit confused about the literacy and the education, because you might be literate but you are not educated. Because while we are comparing the kind of link between the sex ratio and all, I always tell it is not between the education and sex ratio, rather it is literacy and sex ratio. Because if you are educated, you will have a better kind of sense to use. So help in better understanding and interpretation of complex reality. Because it's in qualitative research, what we can do, if some kind of complex situation arises, we can have a better understanding of that complex situation, and we can interpret the complexity and find out a better solution to that. So that is a very good advantage in any qualitative research. Because generally in qualitative research, as we go more in depth, so we do the kind of we used to do a kind of better analysis to finding a better solution to that. Assist in understanding the implication of qualitative data. So what exactly it helps it helps in understanding the implication of qualitative data. Means whenever we collected any qualitative information, it helps that how we can collect the data. And simply it will not, qualitative research never helps in collecting the data, rather it helps in understanding and its implication and its usability, and also its kind of um, and its kind of interpretations. So then okay, so what are the qualitative methods we are using? See, the qualitative and quantitative methodologies are not mutually exclusive, because generally you see, generally we have a kind of debates continue that which method is good, what is the basic difference between qualitative and quantitative method, that we'll discuss. But rather you see, if you see that it is generally, sometimes what we told, our research is completely qualitative in nature, some people tell our research is completely quantitative in nature. See, it is very difficult to tell that making a study completely exclusively qualitative and making a study exclusively quantitative is, because you see, no doubt there is most of the time we tell sociology and anthropological and historical political science, not really exactly the political science. In social science, basically the anthropology, sociology, history, they usually go for very qualitative research, and most of the economists and some extent to political science, they use the quantitative research. But political science also, in both qualitative and psychology, they use both quantitative and qualitative research also. So what I'm telling you here, you see, so that means there is not a mutual exclusive in the nature. So if you look at the qualitative methods, it is qualitative methods usually covering term for an area of interpretive techniques that seeks to describe, decode, translate and come to the term with the meaning, not the frequency of certain naturally occurring phenomena in the social world. In the qualitative method, what we are doing, we are using certain kind of techniques in collecting certain kind of information. What we are doing after collecting, we are describing, we are decoding, then we are translating, and then we are giving a meaning to that. It is not the frequency of certain naturally occurring phenomena in the social world. So we are collecting all this information using the qualitative method, and description is the basic way of data collection. What exactly in qualitative methods we are doing? We are using the descriptive methods in data collection, because when we are discussing with an individual, we are going for more kind of narration. So that person is giving a narration and we are doing a description onto that. Then similar to the interpretive procedure that we adopt in our everyday life, what we are doing, we are collecting the information in a descriptive mode. Simply I ask a question and I wait, let him to analyze, let him or her to describe the information, and while he or she is describing, I am taking out the things which I need. Suppose I want to understand the pain of the feelings, the life of a single mother. Suppose I am doing a very qualitative research on the women who are the mother but living alone. They are either divorced or they are separated from their husbands and staying alone and having a child. Suppose I am looking into making a study on the life of a single mother. So there, what I'm doing, I'm extracting the qualitative information about the motherhood, about a woman, a wife without husband, with all her feelings in a narrative form. So I can raise some of the questions and she can describe those questions in a different form, and I can do certain kind of interpretation after taking the data into account. So are you clear till now, or any doubt? Hello.
No, sir.
अरे वॉइस दूसरा का नहीं आ रहा है क्या? आप लोग है ना, चला गए यहाँ से ना, सिंपली सुर कर दे, ऑन करके भाग जाना.
नहीं सर, ऐसा नहीं है सर.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, so means you are understanding.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So if you have any problem, please stop me. I'll narrate. So the next is it consists of this qualitative research consists of three kind of different kind of three kinds of data collection we usually do. One is the in-depth open-ended interviews. What we are doing? We are doing an in-depth analysis using an open-ended interview techniques. Then the second, we are doing the direct observations. We are doing an in-depth analysis with an open-ended interview. Then we are doing a direct observation. We are doing so we are doing a direct observation. The first is we are doing an in-depth analysis. Hello. Is it
Yes,
visible
sir.
now? Is it visible? No.
No, sir. No, sir.
Tell.
It
Okay.
is not visible.
No.
Tried my level best. It is showing with me. It is shared among all the students. With the same procedure we are following. Might be the server problem in the institute level. Network server problem might be. It is not going. In my system, it is showing. It is visible to other students. Might be server problem, because sometimes.
Sir, so you can share the PPT in the class notes so that we can download and view in our own laptops.
Okay. We are telling okay. Okay, next time if some problem will come, I'll do that. So anyhow, you concentrate. No, there is no need of always seeing the PPTs. What I am telling, you just listen to that, and wherever you are not understanding, you just tell. Because you see, generally what happen, I am telling all of you. See, generally in the social science, the PPT mode of teaching is not wise, because generally what happen, the I always personally believe the PowerPoint reduce your powers, because social science is very in depth, and when we are discussing any kind of issues, because I only use the PPT only in the research methodology, because the research methodology is more scientific and very technique oriented. Otherwise, in other topics, I never use this PPT kind of things, and I always believe that the PPT reduce your powers, because you will be only focused on PPT. You will not focus on your brain and all. You will only focus on PPT, and what is there in the PPT, you will be confined to that description, and the students will only concentrate themselves into the PPT, rather taking out the PPT and then making the note from the PPT, and their listening is being because you cannot do both the things at the same time. You cannot see and listen. So this is the major problem happens in the students. They only will be busy in writing and taking the notes from the PPT rather than listening. Anyhow, so see, generally in the qualitative research, what exactly happening? The data we are collecting, we are doing an in-depth and open-ended interview we are continuing. Otherwise, what we are doing a participant direct observation, that is participant observation we are doing. Suppose I want to be here to see the how people are observing certain kind of rituals in a different occasions. So I can go and stay with the people for a longer period and see with them how they are observing the different festivals, what they are doing. I can spare the times with them, and then I can observe it and write my document. The written documents, including the personal diaries, letters, open-ended written items on questionnaire and program records. What we do sometimes. So sometimes in the qualitative research also, we send some questionnaire to the peoples. We send some kind of actually, we send some kind of questionnaire to the peoples, and then what we are doing now, some kind of what is happening, the students, suppose I can send a questionnaire to a person with an open-ended things. Do you know what is open-ended questionnaire? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that means I am not giving a tick mark kind of option. Rather, I am putting a question and giving a space.
Sir,
He is.
sir, could you please explain open-ended questionnaire?
Okay, so nothing to be worried, because when I'll teach the questionnaire, I'll teach in detail. You see, generally the questionnaire, generally in the questionnaire, in the formatting the questionnaire, one is open-ended, another is closed-ended. So if I'll ask you that how do you cook, I'll ask you. I'll give an option. Yes, see, you are using traditional chula. Yes, electric heater. So these are 3-4 options, and I can mention that using the coal. I mean, these are 3-4 options I am giving, and you have to tick one. So that is called closed-ended questionnaire. But if I am asking what is your perception to the new education policy, the new education policy is being implemented, and what is your perception to the new education policy? So there, what you have to do, there you are giving your own experience. So means I am giving a space as an open-ended. I am not confining you to certain answer, because if I am giving a closed-ended, means I know the outcome, I know the results. I am giving a limited option to you, but in the open-ended, I am completely giving the space to you, and you can narrate entirely whatever you have the feelings. Clear now? And I'll don't worry, I'll clear all these doubts at the time of when I'll teach you the questionnaire.
Yes,
So
sir.
okay, so what we are doing here, I am taking, suppose somebody's diary I am taking, somebody's autobiography I am taking, suppose somebody has wrote some letters. Generally in qualitative research we do that also. Either we go for in-depth interview with an open-ended interview we make, otherwise we go and stay in the village having a participant observation. Otherwise sometimes we can pick up some personal diary, personal letters, or we can send some open-ended questionnaire to some of the our interviewer, and then we get them information, and then we consolidate and make it. Then, and sometimes what happen in qualitative research also, that while we are interacting with the person, we record it using some recording techniques. So because when people will describe and their feelings and everything, I may not able to record everything. Right? So then qualitative methods permit one to study the selected issues, cases or events in depth and details. Suppose in qualitative research exactly what happened, we can pick up a case study map. We can pick up a particular case. Suppose somewhere some incident happened. In qualitative research that is very interesting. You can go and pick up that case and make a more in-depth analysis. Suppose you see, even you can write a book taking suppose the pain of a single mother. You can take the pain of a single mother, you can make a study on it. You just find out as one lady who's a mother, who's a single mother, when staying away from husbands either through divorce or through separation. So having a child, what you can do, you can make a study from the time to time and completely narrate her life. So on that basis, even taking one case, you can write also a book. You can write a very good research papers. Getting my point? So qualitative research is very issue specific, very case specific, and also very event specific, which they discuss in details and in a depth. Then you see what exactly we use in a mostly in a common qualitative methods are used. One is participant observation, which I have already told you. So then in-depth interview, which I have already told you. Then another is focus group discussion. Anybody any idea, having any idea about what is focused group discussion? Hello. Anybody having any idea about what is
Sir,
focused
in
group
in
discussion?
Yes,
focus group,
Huh. Then what
yes,
we
sir.
do?
In focus group discussion, we focus on a particular community.
Particular community. Okay. With particular community, then
Uh,
what do you do?
Sir, we can go for questionnaire. We can go for several research methods with the particular group and can conclude our vision or whatever we have taken as our abstract, sir.
So focus group discussion, what will be your role? What you will do there? And what will be your designation?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Huh?
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Tell.
Sir, pardon, please. Can you repeat the question?
What I'm telling in focused group discussion, suppose you are taking a focus
Yes,
group
sir.
discussion. What exactly will be your
Yeah.
role? What
Sir,
will be your
my role will be to collect qualitative data from their side, as well as I can collect their experiences, as well as I can discuss several specific topics from their side.
see? Uh, Generally, what happen in qualitative research? Generally, your role in a focused group discussion, your role will be as an expert moderator. When you are acting as a moderator, because
Okay.
there you should not speak much. You should just start, let them to narrate, then in between, and you can ask some of the questions. And generally in the focused group discussion, we should not use a specific questionnaire, rather we should use a checklist, that these are the aspects which I want to ask, these are the aspects which I want to cover. So you should have a checklist either in the hand, and it will be wise if all the checklists are in your brain rather in the hand, so that one by one you can while interacting with the people, so you can ask the question. Because generally what happens, whenever you in a group you start writing anything, and the peoples becomes more conscious, rather if you ask the peoples in a kind of discussion mode, uh, taking the question from your brain and the discussion storing in your brain, so that will what will help you can go for more in-depth analysis. Because the moment you see a question and ask, and the moment you start writing, then it is the person who is speaking becomes more conscious. And in the focused group discussion, I'll teach you also later. In the focused group discussion, generally, we can take the people into different groups. Either I can take, because either we can generally it should be a small group, not the bigger group. Either this group may be a mixture kind of things, taking the different ethnic groups into account, taking the male, female into account, different caste into account, different religion into account, or you can go upon exclusively female, only women groups. You can go for an exclusively the Dalit caste differently, the higher caste differently. So that or the youths and old persons separately means it depends upon your study on what exactly you are doing the study. Based on that, your the target group will be different. So then another is photo ethnography. First is participant observation, second is in-depth interview, third is focused group, fourth is photo ethnography. What is photo ethnography? See, we take a photo. This is an excellent methodology we use. We take a photo wherein the researcher click on the pictures of the picture, look at its behavior, attitude, and emotion of an individual in various situations instead of interrogating them. See, suppose somebody died, the people are in the cremation grounds. The VVIPs are in the cremation grounds. Sometimes you'll see the other VIP reached and people shake the hands and then smile and then talk very casually. All the media people, what they do, they take that photo and interpret in the different way in the newspapers. So that means you see, means your photo will interpret your behavior, your attitude, and the emotion exactly. Because somebody died, what kind of emotion you are expressing, the real emotional expression will be also at the same will be cast through the different photography. Because suppose somebody died at your home, we can take a photo, and some occasion some newcomers comes to your family, the way you are smiling and all. So this kind of when seeing the photo we can understand and the reaction. Suppose forget about only photography. Means if suppose now you see, suppose now this pandemic is continuing, you want to go to some particular place, you have a relative there, you just all of a sudden arrive there, and you see they are very close relative to you, you all of a sudden arrive there, you'll see now the reaction, just see their face, the reaction of their welcoming. See, as it is, pandemic is continuing, their welcome to you will be different, because they are little reluctant that you are coming from outside, you might be a carrier and all of the virus and all. They may not be interested to welcome you, they may not be interested to give a space you at their home. Rather, as they are very close relatives, they cannot tell you no, but seeing their face you can recognize, you can realize whether they have interest or not. Based on that, you may stay for a small while and leave this place. Getting my point? Or and you can compare whenever you came, when the life was normal, the way they welcome you and the way now they are welcoming you. So seeing those kind of situation, seeing those kind of facial expression, you can also narrate. And the type of data generated by these methods are field notes. Generally, what we do, we collect certain kind of field notes, we collect audio video recordings, we collect the transcripts. Generally, these are the things which we usually use in the qualitative research. I'll stop here because we have a PhD interview at 9 o'clock. So I have to join there. So we'll discuss in the next week. So because I have a PhD interview now. Hello.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Uh,
Thank you, sir.
Tell.
sir,